Now, when I bought my Can-Am Spyder F3, one of the things I did not like about it was it came with a halogen bulb that gives off an orange glow, and it's not that great to use whenever you're out driving at night. So one of the first things that I did for an upgrade on my motorcycle was I bought an LED light bulb from Slingmods and replaced the original halogen bulb. Now, I do like the way that the original light fixtures look on the motorcycle, but recently they came out with a new LED light replacement that replaces the whole fixture in its entirety, and it is LED and looks good on the Spyder F3. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to install the lights from TricLED, that is the full LED light replacement for your Can-Am Spyder F3. This video is only covering the F3 US model version. If you need to see how to install on F3T or limited model, please watch the install on slingmods.com. Now, details on installing were not included with my order. So unless you are taking yours to a dealer to install or are very comfortable with working on your Spyder, unfortunately this is the only reference I know of other than the Slingmods video to install the headlights. The tools that you will need are a push pin removal tool, pliers, electrical tape, shop towel, or rags for cleaning. For the side panels, you'll need a T25 Torx. For the side mirror, you'll need a 5mm Allen tip, and then for the nose tip, you'll need a T25 Torx, an 8mm socket or wrench, and then for the headlight assembly, you'll need a T30 Torx. Now, when you're removing the side panel, the first thing you want to do is remove the surface panel that is up top underneath your handlebars. Then you're going to use a T25 Torx bit to remove the 4 screws that are on the side. And then you're going to remove the 3 push pins that are at the top by the tank where the surface panel was. Now, after removing those 3 push pins and the 4 screws, you are ready to pull your surface panel out by going straight out away from the bike. The next thing we're going to remove is the side mirror with turn signal. You will use a 5mm Allen bit whenever removing this, and you'll use to remove the 2 bolts that are located at the bottom of the side mirror. Now, whenever removing these, be sure to hold on to it whenever you go to undo the last bolt. And then also make sure that there's a little rubber gasket that's on the back side of it that you do not rip or remove and lose. And then you simply just unplug the mirror. Now, to remove the surface panel, you simply just pull up on it. And for the nose cone, you'll take your T25 Torx and your 8mm wrench, and then just undo the bolt that's located at the top that is highlighted there in that section above. Now, just simply remove the nose cone and any other types of screws if you need, according to what type of nose cone you have. And then simply remove the 2 push pins located at the top that are underneath the nose cone as shown here in the video. The next part that we're going to remove is the top surface panel that's located by your dash and handlebars. If you didn't remove the push pin before, when you're removing the other 3 of the side panel, do so now. And then there's also another push pin that is located by the side mirror. Now, when removing this panel, use your left hand to pull towards you, and then you want to use your right hand to pull up on the panel towards your handlebars. Now, it does make a loud sound that sounds like you broke something, but don't worry, you did not. It has 2 unusual clips. One is a pressure clip, and then the other one is plastic, but you don't want to mess around too much because you can hurt these. And then for install, you'll do this, the opposite is you will push down on the right side by your gas tank, and then you'll push in with your left hand on the panel to insert it. So you basically do the opposite of removing it. I'm showing you right here on the motorcycle what the 2 clips look like as far as the connection on the motorcycle and then the connection on the piece of plastic. Now the next part that we're going to remove is the C-clip that holds your little headlight adjustment button on the inside of the panels. Now next up is removal of the OEM headlight assembly, and the tools you'll need is a T30 Torx bit. All you need to do is just remove the 4 screws that are located at the tops and bottoms of the light housing. Now you're going to pull the headlight assembly out just a little bit, making sure not to pull hard on wires, and then unplug everything. Now cleaning, I think, is an important part of working on my Spyder. I do think it is important to keep it and well maintained and clean as well. I prefer to clean as I go. It is not something you have to do, but I do recommend it. And there's no special cleaners that you have to buy. Simply using distilled water in a spray bottle works, but if there's something you want to use, that is more than okay. When cleaning, I'll look for things that are broken, busted, or things that are out of place and make sure I fix them at that time, because it might be a while before you see this area again. Again, I do think this is important, but it's not something that you have to do. Now these headlights do come with a integrated turn signal, and how you connect this is by connecting a plug connector to an OEM wiring harness that is located by your front tires on the framing. Now you'll just simply unclip the connector, you'll install the new connector to it, making sure that it is pressed all the way in. And notice that I did not have to remove the plug housing. It is still located there, and I'm plugging into it right now. Now as you go along, you'll want to make sure that you zip tie, and since this wiring is right at the tire, it is best to make sure that these wires do not hang freely. I do use a good thick zip tie, not one that's too thin and not one that will dry rot. And then whenever zip tying, I make sure that I cut any excessive zip tie off. Now I'm going to use the original wiring that goes to other parts of the bike as well, and I'm just going to kind of sew my wiring into it. That way it has the same connection, and I know that it's in a good area that won't be any type of situation that causes me any harm if it does come loose. So as you see here, I'm running it with the original wiring, putting a few zip ties there as well, and then cutting off any excess part of the zip tie. I like to use black zip ties because they do go with my frame, and it makes it a lot less noticeable. Now when you get to the end of the A-frame that goes to the motorcycle, make sure that you leave a little bit of slack in there, because that A-frame will bounce up and down because that is part of your suspension. And then basically you're just going to run the wire up the rest of the way and leave it loosely hanging out at the fog light location. Now I wanted to include some tips for you on the install. When removing this panel, it helps to pull towards you with your left hand, and then with your right hand it works best to lift up on the point directly where your key is at, right below the handlebars. Now this makes an awful noise whenever you go to remove it. Sounds like you break something. Stuffing a rag under the light when bolting it back on will help catch screws if dropped when installing the new light assembly on it, and also when removing it, it's a good idea to do this as well. Always wrap any wire connections with tape or shrink wrap. This prevents any water issues that cause corrosion or shorts, and also keep the connections secure for you so they don't come loose when riding around. Try not to zip tie near things that need to be removed regularly for maintenance. An example is the side panels. If you zip tie in these areas and you need to get this maintenanced, then a lot of times they'll be messing around or pulling on those wires, and there's a chance that it'll come loose. Again, as mentioned before, cleaning as you go is always a good idea. It may be a while before you see some of these areas again, and cleaning will help your Spyder last a long time. Now there are many different ways that the nose piece connects. It is best to find your version before working on it. I will have the link for where I go to look up parts in the description below, and these are examples of some of the different types and what it looks like on the connections. So when you go to this link, you can find a breakdown of your year and your model, and it shows you how it's connected, and this is important. Otherwise there's a very good chance that you could break the little clip that is on the nose cone. Now this can be ordered from TricLED.com, also from Slingmods.com, and you can order it from Amazon.com as well. And please be sure to see my links below in the description so you can have a reference of where to get these. When ordering on Slingmods for 2015 and 2018 models, it comes with everything. And for 2019 plus models, you may need to order a 1 to 2 accessory power harness if you do not already have it.